Dave's Tap Box.
Well, there we go. Welcome to the very first show. We've got a very exciting show for you. We're bringing you lots of devices. Black. I think we're experiencing technical difficulties on our first transmission. Yes, we're experiencing technical difficulties. Fantastic. Okay, let's try again. I'm going to
Remember that, Dave?
God, yes.
Right, if you recognise that, then you've been watching us for just about 3 years, as it happens. A couple of weeks ago, actually, technically, was our VTTV's 3rd birthday. And that was a clip from our very first show. And a bit later in this show, we're going to have a little look and a little wander down memory lane, aren't we?
Yes.
But we've got some more current stuff to be looking at before that. After the titles. So, it's Sunday, the 16th of February, so 2 days after Valentine's Day. Did you get anything good?
For Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Got a lot in.
Actually, I do quite like that, actually. I got some chocolates, as I was showing off in the pre-show.
Well, given that Valentine's Day falls 2 days after my wedding anniversary, you know.
That's very
kind of-
romantic.
We roll the two together and have anniversary week.
Sounds like a plan.
I've got a bad back.
Tonight, we are going to be looking at, as I mentioned just before the titles there, we're going to have a little chat about Vapor Trails TV. The way it was, the way it is, and the way it might be. But we want to look at some current stories as well tonight. And I think a good place to start would be with the Nikki Sinclair organised Brussels trip. Now, if you were watching Team Talk on Wednesday night, you may have seen quite an indignant me joining Team Talk, basically to bang the table a bit and say, come on guys, we need to fill this coach. And it's full. So I hear.
I think I'm so pleased to hear that. I really am.
I'm pleased and a little bit relieved too. So that's really, really good, because somebody contacted me on Friday morning on Twitter and asked for the details. I sent him a link. He said, oh, thanks, but it's too late. It's full. And I'm guessing it must be full because I've started getting details about the hotel we're staying at and stuff like that now. So if anybody doesn't know what we're banging on about, this is a coach trip. Nikki Sinclair, who is an MEP for the West Midlands, representing the Referendum Now party, I think it is.
We want a referendum now party.
We want a Referendum Now party. And has been a fantastic supporter of vaping and anti-TPD Article 18. She's been brilliant, and she's arranged to use her allowance to run a coach that's going to take us to Brussels for free. This is, we get a meal in there, we get a tour of the European Parliament, a free hotel in Brussels, so we can basically build up to a protest outside the European Parliament on the 5th of March.
Yes.
So we'll leave on the 4th and protest and come back on the 5th, which is absolutely fantastic of her, and I'm so pleased that we've managed to fill the coach. Not least of all because I'm looking forward to going over there, because I missed out on the black balloon thing, and I'm looking forward to going over there and sort of seeing this place and everything, but also I think it's going to be a bit of a road trip.
Well, it's not just that, but I mean, it's also, if you like, the start of Plan B, if it's needed.
Well, quite, it is. It is. I mean, this is prior to the vote, isn't it? That's on the, what,
No,
the 20...
it's after the vote.
I thought the vote in Strasbourg is the 22nd that week, isn't it?
No.
Oh, no, you're right. Yes, it is after the vote.
They brought it forward to February the 25th.
Yes, you're right. I forgot what month we were in.
So if everything goes to hell in a handcart, tits up, and the rest of it pear-shaped, then this is the start of Plan B. This is, we want proper scientifically based legislation. If there's going to be any at all, it needs to be done properly, and this is the first stage. It could be, in actual fact, the most important starting block for ongoing work. I think it's great, and I'm so grateful to Nikki for organising it, and so grateful to everybody for going on it. I think it's fabulous.
It is fabulous. It looks as though a few people are having problems with the stream dropping. All I can say is that it's going up to the streaming provider okay from my end. I seem to be getting decent playback as well, but apologies for that if it's disruptive. We'll keep going.
We're going to try something different tomorrow.
We are. We have some changes. We'll tell you what. We'll touch on that when we talk about VTTV.
Yes.
A bit later, because that'll roll together nicely, won't it? Yeah. So Brussels trip. Just wanted to say well done to everybody that put your name forward, and I'll see you on the 4th of March when we get on the coach, bright and early. I don't know how I'm getting to Birmingham yet.
Well, you live just a kick of the arse away from Birmingham, don't you?
About 20 miles.
It's no distance that. Set away at 6 o'clock, you can walk it.
I might have to. To bribe my son to drop me off, I think. Right, what else were we going to look at? A couple of things, actually, that have popped up. I think let's look. Should we talk about the chemist?
Oh, let's.
As in a certain Nottingham-based chemist. As in
Yes.
Boots the chemist.
Uh-huh.
There was an article in the, what's it called, PJ Online, which is the Royal Pharmaceutical Society Journal or something.
That's right.
I did look to see what PJ stood for, and I couldn't actually find it anywhere on the site, which says a lot about it. In fact, their site leaves a lot to be desired in a number of ways, but let's have a look at it. This is an article that appeared on Thursday, the 13th of February, and it's talking about Boots and Lloyd's Pharmacy, all one word apparently, join the vaping fold by selling e-cigarettes. And that is, the story is pretty much what it says in the headline there. Both Boots and Lloyd's are going to start selling e-cigs. Boots will start selling Fontem's Puritane in its pharmacies from the 24th of February. And it does say the equivalent about Lloyd's. Lloyd's were... Can you remember what they were going to be selling? Oh, Lloyd's are offering Nico Ventures Vipe in a small number of pharmacies in December. And then they've rolled it out across 1,500 of their pharmacies last month, so January. So this, on the face of it, seems to be good news, because the Royal Pharmaceutical Society doesn't seem too happy about it, do they?
Not massively so, no.
If I scroll down the page, there's a little red highlight there, and where Alex McKinnon, RPS, that's the Royal Pharmaceutical Society Director for Scotland. Why they all come from Scotland, the real zealots? I mean, I'm not casting aspersions. I better just look at the camera and say, I'm not accusing all Scots of being zealots, but when you think it's Ash Scotland are worse than Ash anywhere else, isn't they?
Well, there's them in Wales.
Well, yes, okay, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Wales are catching up fast, aren't they?
Yeah.
But this Alex McKinnon, he's the director for Scotland, said, I'll flick back to it, we recognise individual pharmacies may sell e-cigarettes, but until there is a licensed product, the RPS cannot support their sale in pharmacies. There are existing proven safe evidence-based products already available which should be recommended to patients wanting to quit smoking. I'd love to know what he means by proven. Proven not to bloody work, I suspect.
I suspect you're right.
He goes on to bang on about tobacco industry links and stuff as well, which, to be fair, when you're talking about Vipe and this Puritane product, they pretty much are. Puritane, it says, is a wholly owned Fontem, is a wholly owned subsidiary of Imperial Tobacco.
Yes.
And we know that Vipe, of course, is the offering from British American Tobacco. So yes, I mean he's okay. He's technically correct, isn't he? There are tobacco company links with those products that they've chosen to sell. No, I don't understand why a pharmaceutical company should have an issue with that. They should be issued, I don't, unless they are just basically biased against tobacco companies.
Well, the thing about the pharmacists, of course, when you think about it, they owe the bulk of their living, I would imagine, to pharmaceutical companies. Unlike in the States where you can buy cigarettes in pharmacies, over here you used to be able to buy those herbal fags, I think, years ago, but not anymore.
That sounds vaguely familiar, actually.
Yeah. So, I mean, they've gotten to the stage now where, if it's produced by the tobacco companies, this Royal Pharmaceutical Society is going to be less than happy because that threatens everything that they like. The fact that Boots and Lloyd's are taking e-cigs on is, in my view, fabulous for all kinds of reasons.
Well, I've got to say, I mean, I agree. I mean, it's got to be a good thing, right? Because every major company that gets a stake in this, the harder it's going to be to stop it, right?
Well, even more so when you start talking about Boots. Boots is the biggest provider of all kinds of products that people use to protect their health. I'm gonna couch it in those terms.
Yeah.
Because not all of those products are pharmaceutical products, but you're talking about cosmetics, you're talking about glasses, you're talking about contact lenses, you're talking about all the hair care stuff, all the foot care stuff. There's a whole mix of all kinds of stuff there. And if they are now going to be selling electronic cigarettes, come the fateful day when enactment is due to rise and Boots sees that their turnover on e-cigs is ginormous, which side are they going to be on? Where are they going to be fighting?
It's a good question because, I mean, I'm not sure about... I don't actually know this Fontem Puritane product. I don't know whether that would be compliant with the TPD Article 18 if it goes through as it is. But certainly in Lloyd's Pharmacy's case, the Vipe, we know that that's going out with 45 milligram juice in it, yeah?
Mm.
So, I mean, that is a non-compliant. I mean, that's technically going to be banned, isn't it?
Well, so will the 30. The Vipe itself would be banned because they haven't got anything less than 30.
Is that right? Is that the lowest they've got, 30?
That's the lowest they've got. Right. There's no point in going any lower. But the thing about this is, at the e-cig summit, I spoke to people from Boots, and people from Imperial, and people from Fontem, and Boots, when they were looking at the plethora of Generation 2 and Generation 3 stuff that we had on the table, they were saying, so right, how do these compare with, the Lucky Ladies, the Generation 1, and Lord love us, there was plenty of us there to say, actually, there's no comparison. These things are amazing. They do the job. Like I was on, you know the routine.
Yeah.
Went through all of that, and I said, and asked of the Boots, the guy that was there from Boots, well, are you going to be stopping them? Yes. Are you going to be stopping Generation 2 and Generation 3? Ah, well, he said, one step at a time. once we know that we can work with the Generation 1 stuff, then the Generation 2 and Generation 3 stuff will come through on piece.
I think it's inevitable. I mean, there were rumours recently, and I went looking for the figures, but I still remain convinced that these sort of Generation 1 e-cigs, they are a gateway of sorts. They're a gateway to Generation 2.
Yes, absolutely.
And there were rumours going around that Enjoy, who basically took the US by storm with their Enjoy King thing, that their sales are tapering off.
They've plummeted.
And I was being kind. But yes, they plummeted. They're not selling as many as they were. And I am convinced that's because they've exhausted the new market. And these people are moving on to Generation 2 devices. So if you were entering the industry from the point of view of a big retailer like Boots at the moment, I bet they've already got an idea where they're going if they get the sales that they expect on the Generation 1 stuff.
Well, they know exactly where they're going, as do Lloyd's, because BAT now has a Generation 2 device that's coming out. Whether it's actually on the market yet, I don't know. But there is what is, to all intents and purposes, a CE4 style or an Aspire style atomizer on top of an Ego style battery. Now, they're not going to have sourced from dodgy suppliers. That much is pretty much for certain. And IntelliSig are currently flogging exactly that product on their website. I went and had a look at it. Prices are a bit more than you might expect from our favoured vendors, if you like. But yeah, I can see that would be the RRP in Boots, and they'd be in there, and I can see people buying them on piece.
Yeah, interesting point. I just saw a couple of comments in chat there about people, maybe being put off. I think somebody said, your average newbie is scared to death by a Generation 2 or 3 device. It's funny, I can remember having discussions on VTTV 3 years ago where we said, yeah, the first generation stuff, it serves a purpose.
Yes.
Because a smoker, it will more willingly try a Generation 1 device. And I think once the concept is sold, once you accept that an e-cig can work, I don't think it's a big hurdle then for people to move to second generation stuff. I don't think a lot of people will make the jump then to third generation stuff, in my experience. The amount of people I know are happy, but I think these tank things, like the Aspires and the Clearomizer kind of things, and I use EVODs myself, this kind of thing, they're a world apart from 3 years ago, aren't they?
Yes.
So I don't think it's no longer, you no longer assume, you don't definitely sort of switch to something like this anymore. Hold that for you, Dave.
Yeah.
That is sustaining people.
Well, I've just got to look at what my wife uses, and times without number, I've put a Generation 3 rebuildable in it, the old everything, all the knobs and whistles.
Yeah.
And inevitably, she goes back to, currently the E mode, which is Generation 2. She loves it to bits. It serves her purposes. If she's going out anywhere where she needs to be a little less conspicuous, because the E mode is quite long.
It is. I've got one here, actually.
She'll more than happily take an Aspire, 1.8mm Aspire, on top of an Ego, and she's happy as Larry with that. And sees no need to move. And you've just got to look at Keith. Keith's the same.
Yeah. These days, I'm almost the same myself. I only use these mods now when I'm at home. It's an Ego and an EVOD. That's what I'm using. I would say. Well, certainly it's all I take this kind of thing to Switzerland with me. I'll use I've got like a sort of, I don't know what it is, like a 1300 milliamp twist thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes I use the MVP in the evenings, but with the EVOD on it, because you don't want the hassle of rebuilding and all of that. Yeah, pretty much. That's the sort of thing that you would catch me using in the hotel room on a weeknight.
That's the backup in the car.
Yeah.
That's the backup in the car. If we're going out anywhere, I know I can always get back to the car. That just stays in the car, doesn't go in your pocket. I usually I'll freely admit, have something along the lines of this.
Yeah.
And that's just so that I can make a point. And the point is, generally speaking, something along the lines of look at the size of these clouds.
Yeah. I probably would. I mean, don't get me wrong. I come back on Thursday nights, and I literally, by the time I'm halfway back from the airport, I am longing to get back and pick up one of these Genesis atomisers, because you appreciate them more when you've been on those things for 3 days.
There's a lot of people in chat are echoing you.
Yeah.
Generation 2 for work, Generation 3 for home mostly. And there are also people, Rob Taffy's Taffy? Rob? I can't really say. Rob
Taffy.
Taffy. Anyway, bottles of reasonable juice in boots would be good. I think I can safely say it wouldn't be that long, because juice can easily be made. It wouldn't be that long before boots were turning their own out. They do it with everything. As soon as stuff's out of, not copyright, but that kind of thing, in the drugs market, boots will make it. They've got massive manufacturing facilities. And I can see them turning juice out. And what's more to the point, they would be putting some rather nice flavours together as well.
I'd like to think so.
I really am quite upbeat about Boots and Lloyd's getting involved. If Lloyd's are going to go with BAT, then we know they're going to have Generation 2. And as I say, the conversations I had with the guys at the e-cigs Summit leads me to believe that Boots will stock everything that they know will sell.
Look, we're seeing the market now start to enter this, and if Lloyd's are selling the BAT second generation thing and they're selling, then Boots are going to sell it as well. Simple as that. And all the other pharmacies will follow suit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, where Boots go, everybody else will follow.
So.
Absolutely certain.
So on the face of it, it's just win-win. It's a shame that it's likely to only be Article 18 compliant stuff.
Yeah, well, we shall have to wait and see about that, really. I would like to think that within a couple of years, even if Plan A doesn't go through, if Plan B does go through, we've got a couple of years to basically get this thing sorted out.
Yeah.
It's not going to go away. It's not going to go away anytime soon. But I'll keep on fighting until it does bloody well go away. And I think Boots coming in and selling the amount of these things that I think they will. I mean, the number of people that have been put off, shall we say, e-cigs by various different bits of publicity. Can you just imagine, given the nature of the trust that Boots already has, if you say to somebody, well, you know, fancy trying an e-cig? Well, no, there was a thing on telly that said, yeah, but Boots is selling them, so they've got to be all right.
Rubbish, they're in Boots. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's got to be good publicity.
Hasn't it just? I mean, that's everybody's argument gone up in smoke, not vapour. You see what I did there?
I did. That's clever. That's
clever. That was harm-reduced speech.
Right, it's break time. Actually, it's actually after break time.
Is it?
Yeah. We need a bell, don't we? Like a school bell. Break time.
Playtime.
See you in a minute.
Cloud9 Vaping, sponsors of Dave's Tackle Box.
And welcome back. So, yeah, okay, so that was Boots and Lloyd's, and we think that's a good thing. We're agreed. We think it's a good thing. Let's get these things in as many mainstream places as possible.
Absolutely.
It'll help to dispel the myths and give people confidence in using them, so that's a good thing. Something else, we're going to look at something a little bit different now, and this is a study which is entitled a nicotine yield study, but we don't think it's a great title for it, having mused about it earlier. Yeah. And it was done by the Electronic Cigarette Trade Association of Canada. So let's get it up on the screen first so you can see it. Here it is, and they've got a better website than PJ Online, haven't they?
Well, that's not hard.
It doesn't all cram down the left-hand side in Firefox for a start, so 4 points to them for that. But this is a trade association then from Canada, and I've given up some time ago now trying to understand what actually the restrictions and regulations and laws they've got about e-cigs in Canada, because I'm just not clever enough to understand them. But let's suffice it to say it's a little complex.
Complex is the word.
So I'll read you the first paragraph and set the scene for you. It says, in December of 2013, ECTA chartered a study using Enthalpy Labs, a Health Canada accredited facility which measured the amount of nicotine that an electronic cigarette user would receive when using various current generation devices and the high strength e-liquid level permitted at the retail level by an ECTA member. So looks like the ECTA insist that their members don't sell anything over 36 milligram.
I'm not shopping with them, then I like 45.
Well, quite. It does say that it serves as a general high-level summary of the study. That's what we're going to look at here, with detailed lab results available for download, which I didn't bother, free of charge to the public from our website. Okay, so the purpose of the study, they reckon there were 3 reasons for this study. One was to compare and determine the efficiency of nicotine delivery for modern e-cigarette devices on the Canadian market. Secondly, to verify that the electronic cigarettes are exempt from the prescription drug list, which formerly Schedule F of the Food and Drugs Act, which is the thing that I don't understand. And 3, to determine the viability of current technology as suitable for medical device classification. So, go back to the camera, right? So it looks like they've done this to squash some myths, basically, right? Clearly, they've got regulations that they have to live within or get around or whatever, and they've decided that what they needed to do was take 3 e-cigs, and they took a Joytech Inikin combination, so an iClear 30 dual coil clearomizer at 1.8 ohm resistance with a 1000 milliamp hour Ego C Joytech upgrade, whatever they mean by that, with a regulated 3.7 volts output. They took a Kangaroo VOD, 1.8 ohms, which funny enough is the one I've had in my hand here. And they took a Joytech E-Roll, which is the little itty bitty cigar-like thing, with, I presume, its own atomizer. Yes. So they took basically a big Ego, a normal size Ego, and an E-Roll, and tested them with 36 milligram juice. Flick back to the page. They go on to say how they did the testing and everything, but we won't go into that. But what they did is they tested each device for what they call 8 data point series. Each series representing the total accumulation for 25 puffs. So each device was also tested twice. Represented in the graph below are the scaled results of test 1 and test 2. For the purposes of simplicity, only the highest result from 8 data points for each test is represented in this graph. And basically what it is, hopefully you can see this on the screen, but the top graph here is the Joytech E-Roll. And they're saying that it yielded 3.58 and 3.56 milligrams in 25 draws. The EVOD gave you 5.34, and the iClear gave you 3.98 highest. So that's the amount of nicotine in milligrams that you got from each device.
Interesting, if I can just dive in.
That's a great time to dive in.
and help me here, the bottom line on each pair is blue, the top one is red.
Yes, correct.
The bottom line is test 1, the top line is test 2.
Indeed, yes.
How many times have we said you need to break an atomizer in?
We know that, don't we? We know that.
Just worthwhile pointing out that they work better when they're broken in.
Yes, absolutely right. I'll skip the next bit. Just gives you the equivalent numbers, but per puff. Let's go straight to the conclusion. It says, although the full range of data is not represented in this summary, blah, 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 the results show that the latest generation of electronic cigarettes are exempt from the prescription drug list limitation of 4 milligram per dosage unit. In addition, the test results also show a high degree of variation in nicotine yield for each device. This indicates that they would not be suitable for the classification of a medical device, as they cannot deliver a consistent and constant level of nicotine on a per puff basis. Yes. Right, so what can we actually learn from that? I mean, there's one overriding message which ties in with Dr. Farsalinos' results, doesn't there?
Yes. I mean, it shows exactly what a Generation 2... Can we call an E-roll Generation 2?
Yes, I would say so. If you put 45 milligram juice in it, it performs reasonably well. It's a better atomizer than you get in a disposable cigar-like, put it that way.
Right. Well, we'll call it 1.75, just for the sake of argument. Then.
Why not?
Closer to 2 than 1. It just goes to show, as Dr. Farsalinos has already posited, that in order for you to get a milligram, you are going to need, in the region of 50, 60, 70 drags to get a milligram delivered to the buccal cavity. That's gob. Which is way more than you would need from a standard cigarette. And that's at 36 milligram juice. So his estimation that 54 milligram juice is more closely equivalent to smoking a standard tobacco cigarette than the 20 milligram that those who would rule us think is a good idea.
Just to put it into context, 36 milligram, you're getting on for double what the EU want to allow.
Well, it will be double what the EU want to allow, because nobody will dare put 20 milligram on the market for fear it turns out to be 20.1. Because if it turns out to be 20.1, they're being illegal.
Fair point. Yeah. And there's no doubt there'll be no end of people testing this stuff as well to try and trip them up.
You can bet your bottom dollar that some of the, what's the word I'm looking for, ecigs out there will be, this is 20 milligram, yes, I'll buy a bottle of that, take it down. Trading standards, please, this is 20.001, take them to court, have them done. You know what they're like. So you can guarantee 18 milligram will be what goes out. There'll be one or two will try it at 20. So it is actually double what would be available legally in the EU should everything go the way Ms. McAvan would like it to. Now, I should say the Commission, actually, because they've been the flies in the ointment, really.
Yeah, to be fair, yes.
To be absolutely fair. So, yes, it's going to perform even worse. It actually, while there are many, many flaws in their conclusions, and I'm pretty sure that there is, I mean, I've been hunting for this 4 milligram cut-off point in Canada, and can I hell find it? I don't know where that's come from. I don't know what it is they're trying to prove out of it. But I can't find it. So that's probably of little use to anybody. But in terms of how they perform, it certainly proves that 18 milligrams no good to anybody. 36 is getting there, but you're still going to need to get up to 54 to get even close.
Which we know this. We know this. We don't need a bloody scientific study. I mean, I reviewed one of those e-rolls and I used it for a little while, do you remember? And I had to use the 45 milligram stuff with that bite extra stuff in it to make it viable at all. Yeah, with so we know we don't need. I mean, it's good to have the science, of course it is, because like that helps you prove your point. But I already know the answer. We just need the science to bear it out, basically, because we know, because we vape.
Well, yes, I mean, some of us have been doing this for close on 5 years, and some of us even longer. And the fact of the matter is, and it's true to say this, you innately know by experience, and you can predict the outcome of scientific experimentation because of your experience. Certainly,
Indeed.
whenever anything's being looked at, you can ask Kat, you can ask Sav, any of us that have been around a long, long while, and you know, there are so many of us. We know exactly what's going to come out of it. Maybe it's not to the femtogram, but you know exactly what's going to come out. I mean, I could have told Dr. Farsalinos that 54 milligram was where it was at if you wanted to replicate a fag. Because how quick did I get to 36? We knew it. We've always known it. And that's what comes out of experience, the school of hard knocks.
And then, of course, there's the following question from that is, who cares anyway?
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, there are people in public health that are really rending their vests over this, whipping themselves over the back and wearing sackcloth and ashes.
Is that like the same as making themselves look like twats?
Well, no, actually, these are people who I can't knock. We've been tweeting with a couple of guys lately who are desperate not to get it wrong. They're not coming at it from a Glansian point of view or a McKeevian point of view. They are actually trying to get the information together and weigh up the pros and cons and so on and so on and so forth. Because they've never smoked, they've never vaped, they can see that there is a potential here for a massive public health dividend, but they don't want to go hell for leather and go, yeah, everybody should be using them, because they're really, really shit scared that they're going to get it wrong. And to some degree, I understand that, but then to a larger degree, I can't get that because I'm a risk taker. I evaluate the risk.
Yeah, and also, that's fair. You know, we all maybe we do take risks, maybe we don't. But you know, there's another argument to say that if they don't want to get it wrong, don't do anything. If you don't understand it, don't mess with it.
The problem is, you see, that these are people that are in capital P, capital H, public health, and they are being collared by councils and employers and venues and all kinds of things because they are supposed to know. These are the guys that are supposed to have the information at their fingertips. These are the people who are being looked at to guide public policy in councils, venues, employers, and so on and so forth. And I honestly do see them really struggling with the science on this, because on one side, you've got the likes of Farsalinos, Pelosa, Peter Hayek, Jacques Louisek, and all of the rest of them, and everybody that are saying, look, these things are almost the best things since sliced bread. Anybody that opposes them wants a poker shoved up their backside. And then on the other hand, you've got Glantz, you've got McKee, you've got various others that are jumping on the bandwagon going, no, they're going to turn our youth into prostitutes and male donkeys, and you'll grow warts on your backside and your knob will fall off and all kinds of other shit. But it's completely unscientific.
I can't be the only one that's starting to enjoy Glantz in a kind of sick, perverse kind of way.
He amuses me intensely because he's
like a parody. He's
just so predictable.
The guy's an absolute clown.
I mean, he's a complete, total and utter Tükter Nomte. That's the phrase that came out. He's a complete... Yeah, I mean, he has an agenda and he bends the facts to suit his agenda by missing out the ones...
You're being very, very kind to him there. He tells lies.
Yeah, well, I'm practising for when I've got him on VT Talk or when I
Oh, no, I would pay to see that.
I mean, he is amazingly predictable. I could do a person-to-person interview, you know, him on one side and me on the other, without him there, because I could answer everything I would say. I know exactly what he would say. And I could probably snore in the right place because he's a bloody ignorant twat.
He is indeed. He is indeed.
Midge Dog's just reminded me that Dr. Farsalinos won't even mention his name, and I do apologise to everybody for watching the fact that I have ruined your Sunday by mentioning that obsequious little wanker's name.
Glance, the anti-scientist. Right. It's time to take another break, you know.
Is it?
It is. But you've got time to call Glance a wanker once more if you want.
No, I was thinking about calling him a CU next Tuesday.
End of part 2.
Cloud9 Vaping, sponsors of Dave's Tackle Box.
iVapour and iVapour Elixir, based in Yorkshire, for your e-cig needs. That's iVapour.co.uk and iVapour-elixir.co.uk. iVapour and iVapour-elixir.co.uk, proud sponsors of VapourTrails.tv.
Cloud9 Vaping, sponsors of Dave's Tackle Box.
And welcome back. And before we go on, right, I'm just gonna say respect to our chat. If you're not watching this live, you really should, because we have a word filter which basically cuts out all the naughty words in our chat system, and the creativity that the viewers have in getting around that word filter,
Yes.
it's really quite inspirational. We have some very good wordsmiths, and looks as though our word filter doesn't cover Welsh words.
Well, not that one.
Not that one, anyway. Yes, so well done, chat. And if you're watching this, Dan, don't. Right, I'm going to do a favour for one of our co-presenters now, Steffi, who presents on DE Talk on a Tuesday
sorry,
night.
before you go there, can I just read out what Hiko said?
Please do.
Dave could never interview stunted gland as it's poor form to engage in a battle of wits with an unarmed man.
Very good, very good. Stunting glands, yeah. I like it. Right, okay, yes. So Steffi from DE Talk asked me to draw people's attention to a German-originated, but very much a pan-European thing now. A little campaign they've got going called Vapor Faces. So let's get it up on the screen. And this is a website, and if you go onto it's Vapor Faces, and Vapor is spelt properly, .eu. And if you there's a little sort of thing where you can click your language flag here, and which tells you what it's about. I'll just read you the first bit. It says, "We are vapors. We're not astroturfs. We're neighbours, family members, friends, and we are convinced that vaping is our healthier alternative choice than smoking, and we enjoy it." And the idea of the campaign is to put a face to vapors.
Mm.
And you can see there, hey Dave, there's a total at the top. We actually counted them earlier, didn't we?
Good God.
And there's actually, so they've done it for us. There's already 2,527 people doing this. So basically what you want to do is just get a snap on your iPhone, or other smartphones are available, or on your webcam or whatever, and you go into this participate bit here. and you select the file that you want to upload, and I won't because I've already done it. I put your name and a short comment if you want, and then it appears in the gallery. And look at this. I think this is brilliant. And the idea behind the campaign is to show those that would ban our e-cigs that this is real people. These are real people. You know,
just say in reply to Gillis, yes, it does have to be your face. Please don't upload a picture of your willy or your bum.
No. I can vouch for the fact that it's extremely well moderated, because I uploaded a photograph earlier, twice for a start, and I uploaded the same picture twice, and it was sideways, and some nice admin has come along and sorted it out for me. Let's see if I can find it. I only did it a couple of hours ago, and it's already way down the list here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where am I?
I'm in there somewhere.
I know I'm in here somewhere. I lost it. Maybe they deleted me as a troublemaker or something. Because
they'll have deleted me as being an ugly bugger.
I was in there, but now I'm gone.
I see Blacksmith Pros there.
Maybe it's been shuffled. I don't know. I'm sure I'm in here somewhere. But I'm not going to say... Ah, there it is. There's me. See, there's me. So that's a snap I clearly took on a plane somewhere. In fact, looking at... I know where that is. That's on the way to Vatefest Island. Because I've got my VTTV top on.
Ah, you see.
Yeah, there you go. That was on my way to Vatefest Island. So, do it. Do it. Because it's really, really simple to do. And I think it's a brilliant idea. You think that's a good idea?
I do.
It shows that we're real people, doesn't it? Not just like sort of signatures on a petition or something like that, you know.
It puts the face to the vapor. And I do believe that there are far too many people, both in Europe and in Westminster, that don't realise that we are real people with real faces and real lives, and we really matter.
Exactly.
And that I think just kind of brings it home when you see the whole variety of folks that are on there, that might just give them pause for thought to go, hang on, I could be damaging him.
Yep. And that's for those asking in chat, it's vaporfaces.eu. That vapor spelt properly, VAPOUR faces.eu. And click the participate button, upload your photo, add your name. Job's a good one.
I would just appeal for people to treat it properly. You know, no fluffy kittens, no pictures of your bum.
Yes.
Somebody apparently did upload a picture of their knob, but apparently they should have used a microscope because it was a cold day.
And moving along swiftly, as they say. Right at the top of the show, we showed a little bit of VT, and I'm going to show it again now and just let it run for a little bit longer. But as I say, the 6th of February 2011, VTTV was born, wasn't it? Well, it was our first show. We'd been planning it for some time before then. But this is what it looked like, our very first show. I'm not sure showing this is a good idea, actually, because... It's in
4:3, and I think it's 320 by 160.
That'd be about right. It's not the highest resolution, you have been warned. But I don't know, you watch it, okay, and technically the picture quality isn't as good and what have you, but some things don't change.
That's true.
Just watch this. This is our little wander down memory lane.
Well, there we go. Welcome to the very first show. We've got a very exciting show for you. We're bringing you lots of devices. Black. I think we're experiencing technical difficulties on our first transmission. Yes, we're experiencing technical difficulties. Fantastic. Okay, let's try again. I'm going to stop broadcasting. Let's start again. Fantastic. Okay. All right. Is it still broadcasting black? We're back on. I think we're back on. everybody needs to refresh the browser or something like that. But you know, it's the first show. Please pardon the technical difficulties. There's bound to be a few gremlins on the first go, but I'm just confirming that we're back on air. We are confirming that we're back on air. We're back on air. Okay, I'm going to run this like we're back on air. Okay. So, yes, welcome to the show. We've got lots going on, if anybody can see me. The beauty of live TV. Right, on today's show, we have got a fantastic device from Dave's Devices. It's a review of the Integrity. And we are then going to talk about the Tank and the Fog. And I am seeing two guys who we're going to be chatting with in a minute, and they're both white and pasty looking. Because it looks, they're shaking their heads and looking worried that we're not transmitting. But I'm sure we are. Are we, guys? Yes, we are. I've got the big thumbs up from the people in the control room. Well, one of them, the Happy Vapor, I'm looking out on the screen.
Yes, and it is a bit ironic that tonight, with our streaming provider that's been stable for months up until a couple of weeks ago, has suddenly started dropping out as well. But I can tell you that technically, what we do today is a little bit different to back then, wasn't it? Do you remember?
Well, yeah. Are we back on air?
We are, yeah.
Oh, that's all right then.
Just keep talking. It'll be all right.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
With the black sheets. And later on in that show, yourself and I joined him, didn't we? And,
we did.
And we were all there with our black sheets behind us.
Mine was... what colour was... Mine was purple.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, the camera was that good, it looked black.
It looked black, yeah.
Oh, yes. But anyway, that was a long time ago. We've been through how many streaming providers since then?
4 or 5.
Because we went from Ustream to Justin to Livestream back to Justin. Now we're on the dedicated one.
Then we went to new Livestream.
Oh, yes. We
And
new
then back to
Livestream.
Justin.
Yeah.
And then now we're with SVP.
And it's got steadily more expensive as we've gone forwards.
It's ridiculous how much we have to spend to get this streaming.
Yes, it's a lot cheaper to stream to 20 people each show than it is to a couple of hundred. That's for sure. Yeah, so that's just really just to mark our 3rd anniversary. But it also gives us a chance, I think, to talk about where we're going with VTTV. Now, we have had problems with the streaming over the last couple of weeks, probably 2 or 3 weeks. It started being a bit of a pain.
Since the turn of the year, really. Since the weather got bad.
Yeah, and so we're going to be trying some changes. So we'll be trying another streaming provider and yet another little twist on the technology. And you're the guinea pig tomorrow night, I believe.
Yes. Tomorrow night, I've done a couple of tests, and tomorrow night I'm going to give it a blast using YouTube Live. And we'll see what happens. What that will mean is that I will go out in full HD, 1080p, at 5 megabits per second.
Ooh.
That's the same speed and resolution that you get on your telly when you're watching the beam. Actually, it's higher resolution than you get on HD.
It is.
That will go out at 30 frames per second, but because it's YouTube, if you've got a piss-potical download speed, you will be able to watch it at 720, 480, 360, 240, and probably even lower than that. Also on Android, iOS, Mac OS, Windows, and just about everything else, because it's YouTube. And if that works, we're going to test it for a while. And if that works, we'll roll it out across all of the shows. That's going to be interesting. And that's tomorrow night on the Haze Hour.
What could possibly go wrong?
Only everything.
Ah, ye of little confidence.
Oh no, I've got confidence that everything can go wrong, and it probably will.
Says I, having chickened out of it tonight.
Yeah. I didn't want to mention that, but soon as how you have.
if you don't die on your ass, I'll try it next week.
But, oh, God. You've already said, will we get the bum crack in HD? Not if I sit still, you won't.
Only if you really, really want it.
Apparently, that's why cats show their bottoms.
We'll also be launching a parallel channel, which is VTTV Adult, where basically Dave will show his bum crack for a small fee on request.
It's not that small a fee.
That's what I heard.
It's not that small a fee. I'm telling you, it's a big bum.
Yes, and Mind Bleach will be available in the foyer for 20 quid a bottle.
That's terrible. That is absolutely shocking. While I think on, and before I forget, on Thursday's show, there was mention of a lady that had gone into a school and told all manner of lies to the kids in there. And I can't remember who it was that mentioned it, but please, 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 can you get a hold of me and let me know the name of the school and the name of the company? Because I really want to have a go at that. That's something I want to really have a pop at, and the information hasn't come through yet.
Okie dokie, that's good. That's good.
Paul XP8, really. And I mean,
I saw that as well. Dave will do it for the crack.
For the crack.
Ba-dum. Hey. Somebody wants my e-cig stand.
And apparently
Can't
there's now a rumour going around that Kat's going to show our bottom tomorrow night.
I'm waiting for feedback from the production team there.
I've got a feeling I know what you'll see it.
I didn't say it. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
It was in chat. She's there.
Yes. So VTTV will go marching on, and we'll continue to try and get the best streaming provider we can get. We pretty much tried them all at this stage, and I think we get pretty much the best that's out there currently. But as the technology marches on, we'll try and stay with the best and bring you the best quality that we can. The other thing, of course, which looms in VTTV's future is Article 18 and the rules on advertising and so on. So we're obviously planning very carefully what we need to do, but we have no plans to turn off. They can't shut us up that easy, can they, mate?
They're never going to shut us up. They're never going to shut us up.
We'll be here in some shape or form. It's a good thing about not getting paid to do something. They can't actually cut your pay, can they?
Well, that's right. That's right. Whip It Up 69 has said, what is the problem with the feed? Well, I've been getting very technical on all of this and trying to find out what the problem is. And I think it's a feed into the CDN, the Content Delivery Network. I know it's getting up correctly to our service provider. I've checked the settings and everything else, and we are going up exactly according to the way we should. Nothing's changed in that regard.
We do know that not everybody sees the problems. There are people in chat now saying that there's been no issues tonight watching it. I've had just a couple of flickers on, because I'm watching the same stream as you guys are, just to know that it's working. And I've seen it stutter a couple of times tonight, but I haven't really lost more than total of about 2 seconds, I'd say.
I've had about 9 stops. So it's just not consistent.
So it's on the downstream, and unfortunately we can't really see that because we use a content provider, obviously. And so, but hence trying YouTube, because they're pretty good at delivering video.
It's what they do.
It's what they do. So we'll try it. We've got nothing to lose.
It's up and down like a lady of the night draws is what it is, and it doesn't seem to be consistent even on service providers, because we are both
Indeed.
on BT. Mine's been up and down like a horse draws. Yours has been fairly stable, and yet we're seeing Virgin's giving it hot licks. Whip It Up suggested we set up our own ISP. We'd have exactly the same problems.
We would. Because you don't build your own network, you have to buy that bandwidth, and it costs a lot, and quite often you're using the same bandwidth. The only thing that varies is who you pay for it.
Leanna Wallace has just said, least line, Leanna, there actually isn't anything wrong with the upload.
Yeah. So we deliver our content to the internet just fine. It's how it gets from the servers through the ISPs to you guys is where the issue is. So it genuinely is out of our control at that point. So
we shall give YouTube Live a run tomorrow night in the Here's Hour, which will be interesting to say the least, because that means I'll have to set up yet another computer so that I can monitor what's going on. And if that works, as I say, then slowly but surely we'll start rolling it out. And if it works, Dave's tackle box next week. He's going to bite the bullet.
We're biting something. We're out of time.
Are we?
We've got to go. They're taking us off. To everybody, thank you for watching. To my guests, Dave, thank you for joining me.
Not a problem, Bonnie lad. Happy to help. Always a pleasure, never a chore.
See you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Cloud9 Vaping, sponsors of Dave's Tackle Box.